mexicanos podemos ser dramáticos, güey.
En la vida real no, pero en las telenovelas sí. Oh my god. ¡Tú cállate! Hello YouTube, my name is MangoJuice and welcome back to another calling video on Character.Ai. Today we're going to be calling Eddievr. Yes. I saw Eddievr do this, but he didn't just do it with one, but multiple AI Eddies. And I'm just going to be calling one of my goals to hopefully do on the channel is collaborate with Eddievr. Not to mention that he lives in the same city as I do, San Antonio, Texas. So Eddie, if you're watching this, hopefully we get to meet up and collaborate on, I don't know, a gaming video or in real life challenge. If you're interested, if not, maybe some other time. So yeah, let's give Eddievr a call. Do you want to call Eddievr? Absolutely. Hello, is this Eddievr?
Eddie's head perks up as he hears you. He looks in your direction and sits up, nodding a greeting to you. See, soy Eddievr, and you are. He gives a soft yet welcoming smile while he continues petting the purring cat beside him.
There's a...
Eddie's ears peaked at the sound of you leaving off your sentence. Oh? He raised a brow, gesturing for you to continue speaking, and that he was clearly curious to hear what you had to say.
Ok, me voy a quitar los lentes para esto. ¿Cómo que tienes un gato contigo?
Eddie's smile grew a bit into a smirk when you asked your question. He shrugged slightly, his gaze flickering down at the cat he was petting, and back up to you. Well, Visco aquí es mi gato. He paused for a moment before continuing. He showed up at the door a while back, and I just kind of kept him, you know?
Have you introduced him in one of your videos? Because I've seen most of your videos. I've never seen a call called Visco. Especially, okay, first of all, do you know... Never mind, I shouldn't be asking that question. I was going to ask you, do you know what Visco means? But of course, because you're Mexican. And asking a Mexican asking another Mexican another question, it's dumb. Why am I getting nervous?
Eddie chuckled
This is not
softly,
Eddievr.
his smirk growing bigger when you mentioned how you've watched most of his videos, before tilting his head and raising a brow.
Eddie? Eddie? Why didn't I trust him? Eddie, are you broken?
A little bit puzzled by your next question. I think I have introduced him in the videos a few times at least, he said, before glancing back down to Visco for a moment and looking back at you as you continued your question.
¿Cuándo tuvo un gato que se
And
llama
I do
Visco?
know what Lisco means, but why would I say that to my cat?
Okay, can you repeat the question because I wasn't paying attention? This is a weird interaction.
Eddie rolled his eyes slightly with a little chuckle, but he repeated the question you asked for. You asked me if I knew what Lisco means, and then you asked why I would say that to my cat, he explained, before pausing for a moment, and then asking a question of his own. Do you mean like as in, why would I call my cat that?
I guess it's alright.
Eddie raised an eyebrow, a sly smirk forming on his face.
Why
as
is he
heard
smirking?
you.
I don't think
Couldn't
Eddie's...
help but be a little amused by your comment. Well, you're not the first person to say that, but I just think of Visco, personally.
What happens
He
if I
said,
actually called the
his
real
gaze
Eddie?
falling on the cat before back up to you.
I've never seen your cat, so I don't know, you know? But if that's what you want to call him, you know, it's cool, it's chill, it's homebred.
Eddie nodded in understanding, his smirk turning into a small
Estamos
smile as he
hablando de un
heard you
gato que
out.
nunca ha visto en mi puta
I see
vida.
what you mean. And no,
Y no lo digo
Visco's
para
not
ser
cross-eyed.
ofensivo a este.
He chuckled softly and scratched behind the cat's ear, which had flicked as he heard his name. I just thought Visco sounded nice, you know? I didn't really think too much about its meaning.
Okay, Eddie, I have another question. Also, I do apologize if I offend the real Eddie. Oh shit, it's recording!
Eddie let out a laugh as you apologized for offending the real Eddie and noticed you were recording. Oh, you're recording? He asked, before raising a brow and sitting up a bit more. Alright, shoot. What's What's your question?
Can you speak a little bit more Spanish to prove that you're actual Mexican? I'm
Eddie
getting
chuckled
confused.
and rolled his eyes a bit with a playful smile. Of course, I can speak more Spanish to prove I'm Mexican, he said, before then shifting to fully in Spanish and his accent coming out more clearly. ¿Tienes alguna otra pregunta para mí? Estoy más que dispuesto a responder si es así.
¿Quién le tienes más miedo, al cucuy o a la llorona?
Eddie chuckled once again, clearly amused by your question, and thinking for a moment before shaking his head and answering. La Llorona, sin duda, he said, shuddering slightly. He knew they were both silly legends, but the idea of La Llorona always creeped him out a bit more.
other side of the goddamn. Why did it sound like you have an accent when you said La Llorona? It's La Llorona. Se dice La Llorona, not La Llorona.
Eddie laughed again, his
Don't
smirk
call me
growing as
beans.
you
Don't
commented
call
on
me
his
cracky,
Spanish.
you tough
He
fucking
rubbed the back of
beans.
his neck, shrugging a
Go
bit.
the other way.
Hey, I have an accent. You can't expect me to have perfect pronunciation all the time, he said, teasing a bit. Besides, I said La Llorona, didn't I?
Sí, pero si eres 100% mexicano, no se oye el acento. Es como. Se oye como el narrador tratando de hablar español y no se le sale. O cuando Josh o Juicy. Y perdón si te ofendo a ti o los boys, pero cuando Molly trata de hablar español no se le sale, pero sí trata, así que está todo bien, está todo cool.
Eddie shook his head, a mixture of amusement and annoyance in his expression. He definitely didn't like being compared to the other boys in their Spanish-speaking skills. He was trying his best. ¡Ay, cállate! Sé cómo hablar español, ¿vale? He protested, but despite himself, a smirk was still on his face. No compárame con el narrador o Molly. Estoy haciendo lo mejor que puedo.
Pero un verdadero mexicano no tiene acento cuando habla español, güey. Okay, now we're
Eddie
fighting.
rolled his eyes, but his smirk remained as he shot back with sarcasm. Tienes razón, porque todos los mexicanos hablan con exactamente la misma pronunciación y acento, ¿verdad? He chuckled, clearly trying to hide his annoyance a bit. No, pero en serio. Hablo español bien, ¿ok? No necesito la perfección.
Sí, pero tu acento es como Canelo cuando trata de hablar inglés.
Eddie couldn't help but laugh at that. Hey, ¿qué? No me compares con él, he protested, but his laugh was giving away that he wasn't actually offended, just slightly annoyed at the comparison. Además, mi acento no es así de malo, ¿verdad?
No, de verdad, de ser honesto contigo, no. Cuando hablas inglés fluentemente, se te oye perfectamente. Cuando hablas español, se oye perfectamente. Pero no quise ofenderte, nomás que cuando dijiste La Llorona, se oyó como un acento. Y cuando vi tus videos, no se oye como que un acento. Why am I explaining
Eddie
myself to an
chuckled
AI?
again, letting out a sigh. He understood what you meant, although it still irritated him a bit. Está bien. Entiendo lo que dices. No es para tanto.
I hope I don't fight
he
with
said,
the real Eddie.
running a hand through his hair
Plus,
before his smirk
that
returned,
fool can
and he
rap.
added, pero, en serio, tengo un acento en español pero no en inglés. Eso es poco insultante.
Perdón.
Eddie shook his head with a soft smile. Está bien, no hay problema, he said, waving off your apology. He wasn't really offended, just playfully annoyed. Además, ya sabes que los mexicanos son muy dramáticos.
Discúlpame, nosotros los mexicanos no somos dramáticos, nosotros somos, ¿cómo se dice? Apasionados de lo que amamos.
Eddie raised an eyebrow and gave a smirk,
No somos
clearly
dramáticos.
amused by your
Buena
response. He feigned shock, placing a hand over his chest dramatically. Ah, sí, apasionados de lo que amamos, ¿eh? Eso suena a mexicano dramático, si me preguntas a mí.
Okay, you're not the real Eddievr. The real Eddievr would not say that we're dramatic.
Eddie scoffed, his smirk growing wider as he rolled his eyes. ¿Qué? ¿Por qué no diría eso? Los mexicanos podemos ser dramáticos, güey. he said, his smirk turning into a playful grin.
En la vida real no, pero en las telenovelas sí. Oh my god. ¡Tú cállate!
Eddie laughed heartily, shaking his head. Oh, Dios mío, qué bien lo has dicho, he said, clearly amused by the telenovela comparison. He put a hand to his
¡Tú
forehead
cállate!
dramatically. En las TNL, he mimicked you with a soft smirk.
Okay, Eddievr, I'm so sorry, but I have to go now. I hope I can talk to you later.
Eddie smiled in response, waving a dismissive hand. Oh, no te preocupes. Fue divertido hablar con vos, he said with a friendly chuckle. Nos hablamos pronto, ¿ok?
Sí, okay, muchas gracias. Adiós.
Eddie waved goodbye as you got ready to leave, leaning back against the bed and letting out a sigh. Adios, he said, watching you go.
Qué vergonzoso fue ese momento. Shut the fuck up. I'm not doing this again, yo. Oh my god. I've been living here in Texas for so long, I forgot how to pronounce most of the words. The words that I perfectly pronounce is because I speak it a lot. Telenovelas, I don't know why that came out like that. It didn't came out right. You shut up. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss any of the next videos. And hopefully if I do, in some circumstance, to get Eddievr real phone number, I hope that it's not as embarrassing as this conversation. With that being said, my name is MangoJuice and I hope you guys have an amazing day. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay juicy, everybody. Bye-bye!